right.
That's a good question to ask yourself on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah,
if
why-
it comes up. Why is my dick out?
Why dong out? Dong first, dong out.
Oh, in bathroom.
Oh, yeah, that's appropriate.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
If the answer to why dong out doesn't make sense, then you should probably not dong out.
True.
I mean, if I have dong out, that usually means, though, it's, like, out of its storage containment.
I mean, if it doesn't make sense that it should be out of its storage containment,
Yeah.
then it probably
I don't know
shouldn't
why
be.
I'm making my straps sound like fucking raptors, and they've escaped. I don't know why I've said that. I'm tired. It's fucking finals. This semester's been wild for me. Oh my god. The brain. Hunter, what are you doing?
I'm just waiting for the episode to start, I guess.
I was scared that we were gonna start on like raptor dicks, honestly.
We could if you want.
I
I could
don't
just
know.
say hi and welcome to
damn
Blank
it.
Bodies, a Vampire the Masquerade V5 tabletop and horror podcast. I'm your host, Hunter, and I'm joined by...
This has absolutely nothing to do with anything we've talked about, but Microsoft is trying to sell me a bunch of shit right now because I had to restart my computer. I'm John. I don't have the script open.
That's okay. Is it because fucking Bill Gates is cucking you from the script?
Yes.
Hi to Sarah. We've made it. We've gotten this far. We are apparently now doing a small series on like how to build game stuff. So now we're talking about how to build a one-shot.
How to build a
Yay.
one-shot.
Because, you know, building a chronicle is cool and dandy, but you know, some of us maybe don't have time for that. Some
Yeah.
of us maybe have friends that are like, I don't know about this game system. I don't know if I want to commit that much time. Or, you know, you just have a really wacky idea and you're like, this won't fit into any game that I have written, but I want to do this idea. One shot. Kerchow.
Bang!
Solves the problems. Also, this is a great way if you're new to STing, you're baby ST, and you just want to, like, grind your skills at being able to get better at doing storytelling. One-shots are also perfect for that.
Yeah.
It's also really good for getting your friends into a new game. Vampire or anything else you want to try out. It's hard to be like, hey, do you want to commit every Saturday for the next 6 months to the thing you know nothing about? It's a lot harder to sell than, hey, you want to come over for like a night or two and play a game, see if we like it?
Yeah.
That's a way easier. Yeah, why not?
And you can also always set up a one-shot to be like, if this ends here, okay, cool, we got a good little bookend. Kerchew. And then if the players are engaged and they want more, you can go like, oh, open the door. We're gonna kick that door in, crazy style, and continue forth with our chronicle. So, woohoo. Which if you get that way, congrats, hello, wonderful. Go listen to the previous episode on how to build a chronicle, I suppose. But we're going to talk about how to build a one-shot, and then next episode we're going to build a one-shot, like a unique one, a Blank Bodies one-shot, and then we will put it up on the itch, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we have some house chores to do. Good news, I'll have time over the summer, so DM me in the community Discord if there's things that we need to fix or get caught up on.
Bah.
Huzzah! You have permission now.
My script's open.
Hey, I'm proud of you. I
Me
was
too.
totally not riffing to give you time to open the script.
For sure, yeah.
Content warning, regular World of Darkness stuff. If I say something super out of pocket, I am sorry. Sources, I'm trying to limit this to the core book, Player's Guide, Gehenna Wars, but basically the steps I'm talking about for building a one-shot are kind of system agnostic. Those are just books I recommend if you're starting to get into Vampire for 5th ed. That's a good little landing trio of books. If you are genuinely new to gaming for Vampire, welcome, hi, hello. I'm shocked you stumbled upon us on this episode.
Yeah.
That's a good one to start with, I suppose, though, if you're
Yeah.
new.
Yes, that is true.
And an ST.
Yes, and if you want to have some follow-ups on like what the fuck Vampire is and you want to get into it, I recommend if you go to episode 2, we have a whole episode talking about the dice and how they work. Episode 3 is kind of got a starter guide on how to play a vampire. Episode 4 does go through the steps of building a vampire, and we have our custom Benny boy.
Benny.
And then episode 5 is consent and player expectations, which you should do regardless of the system.
Yeah.
So huzzah!
Though we do kind of get in that episode more vampire focused, but I think Vampire also has some specific concerns that other games might not have.
Yes. Like blood.
Like blood.
Power dynamics and
And just dominate in general.
and capitalism. Anyways, so getting into building a one-shot. I would say the biggest issue with trying to build a one-shot is time. Timing your time constraints. That's going to be your biggest hurdle in this. I personally think one shot should be planned to be no more than 4 to 5 hours. I feel like that's a solid game day. But decide how long you're going to have. If you only have 2 hours, you got to make this really lean.
Yeah.
If you got 4 or 5 hours, you're like, okay, cool. I got a little bit of time to play with, but you still got to
stay on task.
You still got to stay on task. If you decide to go beyond the 4 or 5 hours, it might be a 2-shot or a 3-shot. Or the 1-shot just becomes a chronicle. That also happens.
That also happens.
But yeah, if you're planning on this actually being a true, genuine one and done 1-shot, when you're planning things, decide from the get-go how long you are dedicating to this. Also, be aware in your time allotments that your players are going to eat up more time than you think. Every time I've ever run a 1-shot, players end up riffing, asking a lot of questions. They will do actions you're not expecting, and you have to re-steer everything for that. Players are going to end up eating way more time of your thing than you are ever going to think. I usually try to dedicate a quarter of whatever my time allotment is to just player fuckery. So good news, that means there's less bullshit you have to write as a storyteller.
Oh,
that's a good metric. I like that.
Yeah.
Quarter.
Like a quarter of it is just players are just, I'm like, they're going to make dick jokes. They're going to be like, I don't know how the dice work.
Yep.
Somebody's going to decide to monologue in character.
That's almost guaranteed to happen at least once in a vampire anything.
Just 2 characters are just going to be bickering about nothing that's actually related. They're just going to decide for the bit that they don't like each other. And they're just going to bicker. And you're like, all right, cool, I'm going to just let it run.
Yep.
So if you're planning a game that's 4 to 5 hours, yeah, about an hour of that is just going to be fuck around time. So cool. Less stress on your end as a storyteller. Also, I was going to say, if you know your players to be a chatty group or they tend to get lost in the weeds, I recommend having some sort of visual aid to help keep them on track.
Okay.
I would say get an hourglass or an egg timer. You can have a threat level gauge, because I like that the hunter system has that thing with the dice where if the threat is more, you throw more desperation dice into the pool. I've totally weaponized that when players are fucking around too much. I just chuck a dice in there and then they all go, oh no.
That trick only works once, though, unless you actually make that dice do something.
Yeah.
If I've heard a lot of people give the just roll random dice till your players start paying attention. But if you do that and then nothing happens, they're going to ignore it every time after that.
Yeah. I was like, at least when I've used the hourglass or the egg timer, I keep that behind the storyteller screen. If they're fucking around too much, I just pull it out. I don't turn it over. It's just there. And then they'll kind of steal back. And if that doesn't quite work, I'm like, I'll turn it. And then once that empties, something has to happen.
Yeah. Yep.
There has to be a consequence. You're like, oh, you made me turn it. But a lot of the times, just a little visual aid to go hey guys, back.
Let's get back on it.
Yeah, that's helped a lot. Other thing is combat will also eat up way more time than you think.
True.
Every game system, every game I've ever run, anytime you're like, yeah, this will be a quick combat, it is never a quick combat, which is fine.
Because people forget how the dice work.
People forget how the dice work.
People think of weird creative things that end up taking a little bit more time than just swinging a sword or shooting a gun.
There will also be more riffing than you think, because somebody will come up with an idea and they're like, can I describe how ridiculous this is? And you're like, yeah, go, man.
Yep.
So, I to help combat the combat being crazy, I definitely recommend having sheets for your players that explain how the fuck their shit works, especially if they're new.
Discipline cards.
Highly recommend that. You can also just, whatever the disciplines you know that the players are going to have, just make them a little printout sheet and just give that with their character sheet. I know it seems tedious and boring. It will save you so much time in the long run, because they can just go, oh, I have my note. Yeah, it does this. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's such a good idea. Please.
It is good stuff.
Use cheat sheets, please. Please, dear God. Also, having the initiative order clearly noted and announced with each turn will also speed up things.
I see some people use their DM screens. I've seen them use clothespins. Some DM screens have little sections that you can put stuff in. You made the poll for Hunter.
Yeah. That one, I really like that. That was always really helpful.
Yeah, I have made a bunch of those, and I should probably put those on a store to sell. But I made little initiative trackers where I made a little decorative base with a little stick, and then you can use clothespins with character names or NPC 1, NPC 2, and da-da-da. So there's a little visual thing so people can keep track. You can use post-notes. You can also do the carnival barker method, which is what I've done, where you as a storyteller have the list of what the initiative is going to be, And then as you're going round robin for it, you go, okay, player, you're doing your thing. By the way, so-and-so, you're next. Engage with that player, and then like, okay, so-and-so, it's your turn. Hey, you're next. Engage with whatever, just so that people are getting the visual, like...
So they can start thinking about what they're doing. And
Yeah, because as much as we all love gaming, the ADHD is strong with all of us.
Yeah.
So just keeping, like, trying to reinforce the, like, hey, there is a turn order. Hey, I acknowledge you. You're next. Da-da-da-da-da. And then, that helps people, like, keep engaged because then they're like, oh, I'm next? Okay, I need to look and see what's happening so I can plan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but yeah, keeping initiative straight and communicated will speed up combat a lot. So you don't have to go like, dude, it's your turn. And they're like, what? Oh yeah, hold on, let me think. And you're like, you're eating up so much of my time.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you like
and
this?
everyone else's time too.
Yeah,
all the other players.
And we only have 4 hours.
Right.
Go. I also found one-shots tend to run smoothly if you keep the combats within them to 1 or 2 smaller combats and then 1 big one. There are certain game systems, kind of like Morkborg, where it's more combat. I've had fun swapping it up a little bit in Morkborg by just giving people like weird, spooky wizard shit to do. You can kind of do the same thing in World of Darkness stuff, where if it's a one-shot, it's more apt to allow for combat to happen because there's generally less consequences. But yeah, if you can keep the combats limited to like a couple of small ones and 1 big one, or 1 small one and 1 big one, will make it go much smoother, because it sucks if you are like, okay, I need them to fight like 4 things, and then there's the big fight at the end, and then get to the end of the time and you never got the big cool fight you wanted to.
Yeah.
And you're just like, damn it. So that's a pitfall that has absolutely happened to me more than once, planning and running one-shots, and I'm like, hey guys, don't be like me. Don't do that. Limit the amount of fights. Also, prepping a lot ahead of time will save so many problems running the one-shot. I recommend, as a storyteller, having notes and cheat sheets for yourself to save a lot of time in the long run. So have a page where you've planned out the encounter behind your screen. If you can get a storyteller screen that has, like, the charts for your game system that are on the inside, that's super helpful. Making notes of the stats blocks for the encounter things already down is good, so you're not having to like flip through the book and go, oh fuck, what is the defense of this? Hold on. What's the difficulty on this one? I don't Yeah, I would say the storyteller screen for V5 is pretty good, though I will caution depending on when the screen was made. The blood potency chart in it might not be accurate, because I have an old storyteller screen, so it has the old pre-corrected sheet. So I just used a really big Post-it note
and plopped it on top.
Plopped it right on top.
There you go.
Or you can just like print out the one that's in the book and then just kind of
tape it on or whatever.
Yeah, you can use like command strips. I've done that on other SD screens because the command strips don't like fuck up the screen. It's your screen. Do what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
But that would be a caution I have for V5 specifically, as far as I'm aware, on the storyteller screen. That's, I think, the only one that's inaccurate right now. So just double check that, because that gets confusing. What else? Oh yeah, don't write down every little thing.
Yeah.
Especially ahead of time.
Yeah, for a one-shot, I know I'm like, you need to prepare. I'm like, not like that. Don't do that. Don't do I need to write an account for every single little thing that is going to be happening. I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Keep it to short descriptions, keeps it to like signs and symbols players can latch on to quickly, charts for degrees of success on important things, like bullet points for your story beats. Because it's a one-shot, it's not fun for players if you are spending like a quarter of the time just yawing on and on about like doing atmosphere and setting things up.
You're not setting up a location they're going to be spending the next 6 months to a year playing in. Yeah. You're setting up a location they're going to spend the next 3 to 4 hours in. Yeah.
So if your troop happens to be the kind of folks that just want atmosphere and go, ooh, it's spooky, and then they roll like a couple of dice and move on, like, that's fine. Most people don't expect that with a one-shot, so don't feel obligated to do that. And you can also, I like the writing challenge of trying to deliver impact and atmosphere really, really tight. Just I'm like, what little, how stripped down to the bones can I be and still deliver the same impact? It's part of the reason why I like writing one-shots. It's a fun writing challenge. So, you know, if you want to test your chops of an ST of being like, can I make it spooky, or can I make it sad, or can I make it impactful? I'm good at running these really long crons that my friends get really invested in. I'm like, can you do that same thing in short time? Mm-hmm. It's like a Food Network like cooking challenge for like Iron Chef, kind of. It's like, can you make this gourmet meal with only this weird ingredient in 2 hours? Go. A big tool that has helped me with like prepping and planning stuff for running one-shots is behind the storyteller screen. I will open the stopwatch app on my phone and just have that running the whole time. Because I found it's like, okay, well, if I have these story beats I want to have happen, I can kind of gauge when I need to push something to accelerate to make that go, or if I need to pull back and the players are going too fast.
Smart.
That's been the biggest help for me running one-shots, is having that timer running, just so I can go like, okay, we've been playing this game for about like 2 hours. Do I initiate this little cliffhanger moment now to like give people a break, or have they gotten to the puzzle that I need them to get to open the door to fight the big bad thing? Oh, they have. The game's supposed to go for 2 more hours. I'm gonna insert an extra combat real quick. I have found it helps like gauging things as well as just the tone and engagement of your players. Stopwatch, highly recommended.
Very cool.
Yeah. So yeah, if you happen to see me at a COD like PAX East, I'll be there this weekend. Yeah, I will absolutely have my phone just on the table running a stopwatch. Just keeping gauge on shit, because I also will riff and forget what time things are, and I have to go down and go, oh, I've been playing this dumbass for the ha-has for 20 minutes.
Whoops.
Oh, time to make action happen. Okay, who solved puzzle? Do you have the Molotov sick? But yeah, prepping and like having that tool ready to go for yourself, I found have been like the biggest helps in like planning a one-shot. Honestly, it's been so good. I kind of run one-shots professionally now. Oh no.
Whoa.
What? So, you got your prep, you got your plans, yada yada. So actually writing out the one-shot. Woohoo. Concepts. For one-shots, please, dear God, keep it short, keep it simple, keep it engaging. If you cannot sell the concept of your one-shot as an elevator pitch, fucking rework it. It's a one-shot, you're only gonna be in this room to 2 to 5 hours. If you can't, like, succinctly explain to people what the fuck this is, like, you gotta strip it down more.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to have that kind of time.
Right.
Asterisks, if you're doing the one-shot in prep for a bigger cron, because I've done this where I've run games as a one-shot for people to, like, test out player concepts, or, you know, setting things just to kind of do a vibe check, then you can kind of, like, be like, okay, here's the elevator pitch for this session, but it leads into this bigger thing. Right. I think that's fine. But generally, one-shots, I'm like, girl, just keep it, like, you're robbing a bank, but everybody's a thin blood. I don't know. Thin blood. It's the Italian job, but thin blood's the thin blood job. Gross.
Yeah.
So, sorry. Big recommendations for inspo if you're just like, I don't know what to think about or how to plan this. Look at singular episodes of television and short films. Those will be really great sources for finding ways to build and release tension in a very specific time slot. Like, even break it down to, if you're watching a television show, like, see how much, like, rising action and tension they build between commercial breaks, and, like, how that pans out over the course of an hour. That's just free real estate. Especially if it shows that you really like. You're like, I really like the atmosphere of the show, and you realize, like, okay, Bill, between the start of the show, the first commercial break, they, like, set up a bunch of things. And you go, okay, cool, that's all the setup. The next chunk, there's some rising action and more tension. Next commercial break. The big dramatics happen, and then the last chunk is resolution. Yeah. Sorry, you look like you raised your hand, Hunter.
Oh, I was
mounting
charting
tensions.
the raising.
And then there is a climax.
There is.
Sometimes I feel like vampire games do kind of break that, where they almost have the format of like a Dragon Ball Z, where the entire session is just people bitching at each other.
It's just,
I'm gonna fight you. No, but I am more powerful and I will fight you.
You haven't seen my final form.
That was a great session, guys. I feel like we got a lot done.
Yeah, like for like Vampire Chronicle, hell, even like Hunter Chronicle, we've done that.
It's just been like us sitting in a room talking for like 4
Yeah,
hours.
I feel like for one shots though, if you don't give players the quick investment and then a like cathartic resolution, they're gonna feel like you kind of wasted their time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like writing one shots is very different from Chronicles for that reason alone. For Chronicles, you can slow roll that build up for fucking weeks, and people will be super invested in the mystery, and like that's totally fine. For a one shot, if you just go, oh, there's a mystery, and there's no payoff at any point,
There's not really that much of a mystery.
it's like,
It's an unsolved mystery.
yeah, and it's like you can have a cliffhanger at the end of a one shot. That's a thing I like doing, but I try to be like, okay, you achieved X, but by the way, there's this mysterious man in the corner, and he walked out, and you're just like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, I love doing that, and there's lots of TV episodes that do that kind of shit where they're like, oh, there was the reveal, and it turns out Mulder was in the closet the whole time, or whatever the fuck.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, that's where the, yeah.
Makes sense.
And then there's the smoking man, and then they cut, and that's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Are they implying?
Who knows?
Implying it's cool to smoke.
It's cool. It is cool to smoke. No, it is not.
No,
Don't.
do what you want.
I'll take it back. I hate that smoking is cool, but it also will like absolutely destroy your body. So like, don't.
Yeah.
It's both.
Life is cool and nuanced and But yeah. So other things for inspo for one shots. I would say if there's a singular compelling sequence from a film, a book, or comic, these could also work as one shot inspos. I would say find like your favorite scene in a TV show or a film or something. Decide for you what you like that works about it. Do you want this sequence to be like the start of the one shot? Could this be the end of the one shot? I find trying to plan one shots to be something big happening at the beginning and dealing with the fallout of that, or leading up to the big thing at the end, tends to work out really well in terms of at least players feeling like some sort of they got some sort of catharsis or resolution out of the thing you wrote. Tends to work out. Yeah. I just feel like my mantras for one shot is it's kind of like when we've been in punk bands and it's like you just gotta strip everything the fuck out of this fucker because the song is going to be 45 seconds. So, go. It's like we got a verse, a chorus, a bridge, a chorus. We're done.
What else could you need?
I mean, really.
I got 3 bass chords. Let's go.
And by chords, I mean strings and chords.
I had 4 strings on the bass guitar. Thank you.
I've definitely seen bands with 2-string bass.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Like it was a 4-string bass. They just didn't bother putting the others on because they didn't use them.
Perfect.
Hilarious. Okay, well, I guess I'm the asshole that when I was like playing bass for a bit, I really like more reggaeton based bass, so I was using all 4 of the goddamn strings.
I legitimately, you said reggaeton, and I finished it with E.
Are you hungry?
Rigatoni.
He's always hungry.
That's true. You are a hungry man. But yeah, getting back onto the track. If your television media things, you're still just like, I don't know, I feel nervous. There's also a bunch of just pre-written one-shot modules.
Mm-hmm. You could absolutely run 3 or 4 of those if you wanted, and then say, okay, I think I have a better...
Yeah, I'll say that's perfectly fine to be like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to go, there's, as I've said on previous episodes, Renegade has a bunch of free and port pay for monies, one shots that you can grab, 1 shot, 2 shots.
Yeah.
Those have all the ones I've run so far have been pretty solid and good, and some of them come with extra goodies that you can rehash for other things. There's also modules in Old WAD if you want to just reskin that for V5. I have yet to reskin anything from Old WAD into V5 that hasn't worked yet. This might change in the future, but so far it's been fine.
Mm-hmm.
You can do what Hunter has done and advocated for and just reskin stuff from other systems and don't tell nobody.
Yeah. The less games your friends have played in that sense, the better.
Yeah. So it's like, it's totally fine. Look, if you can't write a one-shot, store-bought is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you get a couple of those tools under your belt, and then you're just like, okay, I see what beats are working and what don't, and then I can kind of come up with my own version of writing one-shots.
You can also kind of reverse engineer those, where you kind of see, like, okay, this is how this game, especially the official ones, it's like, this is how this game intends for you to build an adventure, right?
Yes.
So I can then kind of take this format and the amount of details and kind of pull apart how they're guiding the story, how things are pre-set up, and then take just the archetype or the form of those to make your own adventure.
Hell yeah.
I think that's
it's like using its scaffolding.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. If you want to, you can kind of just tear that apart and be like, well, looks like they have 3 locations. You get hints to go next through this, this, and this. So there's like, 3 or 4 clues saying go here next. And
yeah.
That is also completely viable because we are all busy as fuck. Continuing on. So for player characters, ? Some folks like making up characters for one shot. Some people just fucking love character creation. I am not one of those people. I don't like character creation. I'm really burnt out on it though, because there's so many times I've been invited into a game and I got really hyped about it and I went through character creation and then the game fell apart. And I've been doing that for
decades.
Over a decade now. And I'm like, I fucking hate character creation. Don't make me do it unless you're going to actually commit. I fucking hate it. At this point, I'm so burnt out.
Fair.
And it's not like I don't like making characters. I like storytelling, but like with NPCs, I'm like, I have a stat block and then I have a bullshit backstory and a silly voice.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I can do that all day.
3-sentence backstory, like.
Yeah. I just said some shit. I saw how everyone reacted and I went, okay, I guess this guy's sad now. He's just sad forever.
Yeah. And if you like making characters, that's a good reason to ST. You just have to remember that they are NPCs and not main characters.
Yes.
But I mean, you can make tons of characters.
Yeah, but if you're somebody that likes designing characters and writing stories and stuff, doing a fuckload of one shots might be like super up your alley. Because then you're just like having to crank out new homies all the time. And
you can always have those characters show up again, like Betty.
Yeah, you can always have repeat characters for the funs and the ha-has. Some of the one shots, especially like the pre-made ones, will come with pre-gen characters. You could always, if you're storytelling, you could just like have those pre-gen characters as well as just like other pre-gen characters that you just keep in a folder and just reuse them. I enjoy the shit out of that, honestly, because then I get to give characters to loads of different people and just see how they interpret these characters. That's always fucking fascinating. I love the shit out of that. I've been playtesting the Blank Bodies Halloween special from last year at cons for one-shots for folks. And just watching how different people interpret the characters that y'all portrayed has been just fucking fascinating.
Really?
Because I guess, well, because you at least for everybody on the Blank Bodies Halloween special, you guys all wrote, like, interesting and compelling enough characters that when other people grab them, they kind of do it pretty in spirit of what you guys actually wrote.
Cool.
Nice.
So far, which has been kind of fantastic.
Yay.
Yay. So you did good. So yeah.
High five.
High five.
We wrote. And Arden.
Yeah, Le Sombre Chef. And then Danny, our poor Malkavian. Oh, buddy.
He's trying.
He's doing his best.
Good Lord, is he trying?
Girl, he trying.
All 4 of them.
Well, yeah. It's just... I had to stick a couple of sneaky extra guys in there to fill out the 6-person table, so I made some extras.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, no, that's just a weird thing I enjoy as a storyteller is like, okay, I have the same characters, but I will give them to new people and run the one shot over and over again and just kind of see how that changes over time and tweaking it to make it more balanced for folks. So yeah, it's cool if you make new characters for the one shot or if you have pre-gens, both are fine. Just make sure everybody is on board with what the fuck's happening on that.
Yeah.
And
if you are planning on making characters, might be a good idea to have a session beforehand to do that. Don't let it take up your one-shot time.
Yeah, I was going to say session 0 should happen for a one-shot. It does not have to be a whole day affair thing. I would say either like have a group chat where you just kind of discuss things and then like pass out the consent checklist to folks.
Yeah.
Or plan on your one shot to have like a half hour to an hour before the game actual starts to like do the session 0 then. Is always like a fair option because depending on your game system, generating a character is really quick.
Right.
Vampire, I would say, is not.
It's not bad.
It can be, but usually it's not.
It's not like D&D where you're like, okay, I have to calculate how much gold I have. Okay, now I need to go buy all of my equipment. Did I get a bedroll? Hold on, let me see if I got a bedroll.
I mean, if you're doing D&D one-shots, I generally don't fuck with that as much. Yeah. But,
I don't think I can think of more than 1 or 2 D&D one-shots I've done that we didn't use pre-gen characters.
Yeah. But yeah, even if you're just using pre-gens, I would say a little bit of time before the game session to do checklists. Gehenna Gaming and Monty Cook both have really good, like, quick down and dirty checklists. You can do the line and veils thing of pass around the paper and just be like, hey, this is what we're good at, this is what we're not going to do.
I think in our episode we did the red light, yellow light, green light consent episode 1.
Oh, yeah.
That one's a little more detailed, but...
Yeah, I was going to say there's a checklist that Gehenna Gaming does that's also red light, green light based, but it's a front and back pager, so it covers a little bit more options than the Monty Cook one.
Cool. But
it is free, and like that was the one I have used for running one-shots at cons, and I think at most it takes people like 5 minutes to just like read through it and do the checklist, and you just kind of flip through and go, okay, cool, good news, none of that's in this game, so don't worry.
Or, oh, well, okay, let's switch this out. And do something else.
Yeah, because it's a one-shot, honestly, it's 90% of the time, just change it. It's not worth fighting your players for a one-shot to, like, this has to be here. Asterisks. There are a couple of games where the thing has to be there, so, like, if somebody's like, I really don't like blood, I'm like, why are we in a vampire game?
Yeah.
I'm not mad at you. It's fine. I just don't know why you agreed to this.
That's where, like, how would you feel about playing a human?
Well, there's still going to be blood things happening. It's just be one of those, like...
I know some people are also, though, like, I don't want to interact with it as a character, but I don't mind if other people do.
Yeah, so that's one of those, like, play it by ear. There's... Because I've run some one-shots of... Like the Blank Buddies Halloween special. If somebody's like, I don't like guns. Oh, it's going to be so hard to do that.
Yeah.
That might be we might need to play a different one-shot, friend. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But most of the time, if somebody's like, I don't like X for a one shot, I'm like, just rip it out.
Yeah.
It's fine. 90% of the time, it's cool.
They don't like spiders, make them wolves. Scorpions.
That's another thing, I would say for one shot too, to help yourself out if you're writing this before you're getting to, like, consent talks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make any extreme topics the focus unless you know your group is already okay with those. Like, don't write a adventure about human trafficking as the main focus for your first time playing this game if you're not sure what the group's going to be into. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like one-shots are good if you're have an established group and you want to try exploring more intense topics. You're like, hey, we're going to do a really freaky Cronenberg Eldritch Horror one-shot because I have a fucked up idea. Is everybody cool with that? And everyone's like, yeah.
Let's go.
Fuck me up, fam. Let's go.
I want my legs to fall off. I want snails for legs.
I want snails for legs. No, terrible. Yeah. But if you're using a one-shot to be like, hey, friends, you wanna try being vampires for fun's sake? Maybe don't throw some of the really heavy shit at them on the first go.
Don't get them into, like, the really nitty-gritty of blood binding on the first go.
Yeah. I mean, that might be, that's why we have a Session Zero talk, and that's why you also have the pitch section of, like, here's my elevator pitch.
Yeah.
This is my content warning. Are you Gucci with this? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like, because you can get, I like one-shots because you can get weird and wild with it, but if it's what you're using to, like, rope your friends into your hyperfixations, it's like, maybe don't pull out all the guns on the first one, but, play by ear. I don't know your friends. Unfortunately, due to this being a podcast and the media format it is, this is a one-way relationship.
Ha!
I cannot see you. You cannot see me, but you hear a voice and I share way too much shit. Anyways, parasocial relationships.
Yeah.
So, I highly recommend if you're OG writing a brand new one-shot, do a flowchart method. I recommend just writing things in flowcharts anyways, but especially for one-shots. I would say it's very important to plan a really solid start and a really solid end. Players will remember a weak start and a weak ending. The middle, they're not going to remember.
True.
I have yet to have anybody be like, well, this part in the middle was kind of meh. Mm-hmm. I've never had that happen. People will remember if the ending just petered out, though.
Yeah.
They're like, the game was really fun, then I don't know what the fuck happened.
It just kind of stopped?
Yeah. So, if you're nervous, good cheat is just solid ending, solid beginning. The middle will work itself out. It's okay.
You can come with an A and C and let your players even figure out B if you really want.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to play a sandboxy one-shot, I think it's, all right, you're here. You need to get here. I've planned what's going to happen when they get here. I know where we're starting. They're just going to come up with stuff to happen in the middle, and then I'll yes-and it. And then use that to direct them towards C. So that's another way to do that.
For sure. Yeah, that's kind of like a thing I recommend, but with like a couple extra steps. Mm-hmm. At least it's like, this is what I've done so far, and it's been successful, and if it works for you, cool. If you have better ideas, yell them at us on the Discord.
Yeah, you can definitely put hints and plans at what's going on at sea too. Like, but just in general, that's kind of how I like doing it. Where when I'm writing my own adventure, like I tend to do AC. I think I talked about last episode when I was talking about the D&D one or first adventure we're running, where I was like, all right, your job is to basically get to the top of this mountain. You're in this town. What do you do? And then I had gave them a session to like explore the town, and then they came up with plans, and then I took all that and wrote what they told me they were going to do anyway. But you can kind of do that in more of a one-shot form if you guide them a little bit more.
So for starts, for your one-shot, I recommend that you establish a tone and a mood, and also give the player space to describe their characters to each other and interact a little bit.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of one-shots, if people are getting used to the new character, sometimes they're getting used to each other. Give them a little space to just kind of figure this shit out. Things I recommend is being like en route to a heist. You're waiting at a safe house for your boss. Leaving a bar at closing time, places where it's like, I find having one-shot starts where you're already like having an action happening, but there's a reason why there's a pause.
You're kind of dropping some of them into a current. The current is, they pick up pace with it really quickly.
Yeah, because I have had struggles with one-shots when it's been the classic D&D. So you meet at a tavern, because you're in this enclosed space, and that just kind of stops all momentum. Yeah. And I found doing the vampire equivalent of that, like, so you guys meet up at a bar. Right. Or you meet up at the warehouse.
At the warehouse. On the docks.
You're on the docks. I find that is establishing a tone where you're already like sedentary, and you're gonna now have to write something in to get the momentum going. And I'm like, just make it easier for yourself. Make something already happening. Right. Just be like, you guys are in the van. You're going to location. You guys are already counting the money that from your previous heist. Something. There's lots of options there's an action happening that you can, but there's like a reasonable amount of space for people to talk. Right. I don't know. You're closing up something for the night. You're offloading a ship at the dock. You can still be at the dock, but you're actively like you're receiving. You have an activity. Yeah, you're receiving the crate from the ship. Yeah. You know, that those tend to help. And in terms of writing your end, I would say give your players something to overcome and extra points if this could lead into a wider world implication. So. I like trying to end a one-shot with something for the players to talk about once they're done, because if you do the one-shot successfully, they're going to be hyped, and if you want to get them hooked into playing games more, give them a little nugget of something that they can just, like, ponder and scheme about once the game's done. They're like, oh, what could have that meant? Oh, that's crazy, dog. Oh, yeah, that connected to the thing I saw earlier. Yeah. I'm not talking to you about how to indoctrinate your friends into things. Not at all. But examples of things that I think work for endings is they defeat the bad guy, but his minion gets away. You stop the bomb from going off, but they find a clue to like some sort of secret lair where there's a bomb factory.
A bomb factory?
Where they make bombs. Whoa! They deliver the goods, and then there's a bonus reward they get for a successful job that ties into something from one of the characters' backstories. A cameo from a fan-favorite NPC in the lore. Oh, those are good options for a thing at the end where it's like, okay, you achieved the goal. There's also just this little extra thing. Game is done. Right. Tends to work pretty well.
I like it. It's almost like a post-credits scene.
People love a post-credits scene.
It's true.
I hate how much I enjoy them, but I think that's because, like, half the time a post-credits scene, those kind of read as like, okay, the writers and the director just got, like, this 30 seconds to fuck around. And I'm like, yeah.
Have fun.
Have a little fun. Have a nugget of fuck around. So, when you're going from A to C, because it's a one-shot, you have to keep them on the path. So, unlike writing a chronicle where I recommended, like, plan out, like, three paths. You can do more or less depending on your players. But for one-shot, only one path. Do not give them multiple paths.
You kind of have to railroad a little bit.
You have to do a little bit of railroading because it's a one-shot. Now, you don't have to fully railroad as in, like, force the players to go through
specific actions.
You don't have to grab them by the nose and, like, you have to go to this and you have to go to this and you have to go... Because if you're doing that, you might as well just write a story, which is fine. Writing stories is great. But you need to keep them on the trail, and your players are dumbass horses that will go off the trail to go eat something on a bush.
You know, I like to do a or B kind of thing too, where like, again, you're going to start at point 1, you're going to end at point 3. I try and, all right, here's like a couple options past they can take.
Yeah.
Even if it's like, I'll go into like more of a D&D example, but like, all right, so we have to get to the Baron's stronghold and fight him, but we know he's
that motherfucker in the face.
We could go down the main road, but we know they're monitoring that. But you rolled well, and you know there's a secret path through the forest here, or you could try and go up the river.
Yeah, like you and I are basically on the same page. Just like I describe it a little bit different. Is you got to keep them on the one path to go from A to C.
Yeah.
But instead of giving them like path B1, B2, B3, you're going down path B. There's just breadcrumbs.
Yes.
So, once I have established what the start and the end is, plan out moments that absolutely need to happen for players to get from A to C. So
they need to find the key.
Yes. So it's like, okay, they need to steal this item from the prince. They need to get into the vault. They need a key. So that is a breadcrumb that has to happen. There could also be options of like, you need to find a lost book. Do you need to talk to somebody's ex? Witnessing a crime could be the thing. Defeating a smaller boss fight. There's a lot of options of what is the breadcrumb that has to happen. I usually recommend for one-shots having 2 or 3 of breadcrumb has to happen. That can vary a lot depending on your time slot. If this is a 2-hour one-shot, have only the one. You're running on, that's a razor thin amount of time for a one shot.
Yeah.
You're not going to have a lot of fuck around time. You might only have room for one. If you have like a 4 to 5 hour one shot and you have players that are like really on it, yeah, you might want to plan on having like 3 or 4 of these just because you're like, they're just going to go through it super quick. Fuck. But yeah, usually 2, maybe 3 tends to work out okay most of the time. And also be prepared to just insert these breadcrumbs in particular. This is the one time where I'm like, railroading might need to happen. You don't have to do it in a way that's like, I'm saying force the breadcrumb, but don't force the breadcrumb.
I mean, if it's a key, right, and they have just miserably failed at even looking for the key, they know they need the key. They haven't even bothered looking. You could almost just hand it to them. You know, they go and like beat up this dude who's in the house, and you're like, oh, cool. You knee him in the stomach that last time, and something falls out of his pocket. It's the key. Great job, guys. Yeah. You got the key.
You beat the shit out of him. He's so scared. He's like, listen.
Right.
I'll give you this. Please leave me alone.
Right.
Like you can kind of move an item to where it needs to be instead of where you planned it.
Right.
Yeah. So it's one of those, if this is a must happen breadcrumb, because you as the storyteller have decided that this is a breadcrumb that has to happen, it has to happen. It has to you have to set it off. It fucking sucks to run a one shot. I've had this happen as a player where somebody had planned a one shot. There was a breadcrumb that had to happen. And we just didn't trigger it, so we spent like the 4 hours just stuck.
Figuring out.
Yeah, that fucking sucks. No one enjoys that. So this is where you as a storyteller need to pony the fuck up and go like, okay, I need them to find this book. No one's going to the goddamn library. I don't know why you wouldn't go to the library to look for a book, but okay. So at that point, you kind of need to use your improv skills to be like, oh yeah, you're searching the vanity in this bedroom, and you find a note that says, yeah, the goddamn book's in this section of the library.
Right.
know?
Heart Vanessa.
Yeah. This is just, you can get creative, I promise. You can do it, but...
You got a Malkavian, he has a vision.
Yeah, give the Malkavian a vision.
You can literally just go, oh, hey, you seeing this now?
Yeah.
To a Malkavian.
That's always good. Or, somebody in your party who isn't getting a lot of screen time or isn't doing a lot of things, you can be like, hey, could you give me an intelligence and like academic roll? And they're like, yeah. And they're just like, huh. It's like, yeah, you realize by the way that the house is shaped that there should be a library on the second floor. And then they can just kind of do with that information what they will.
Yeah.
I also recommend, after you've planned out the start and the end and the breadcrumbs that have to happen, write a couple of extra breadcrumbs. Sometimes players will be super efficient. They'll go through everything and you're just like, fuck, I planned this game to be 4 hours. They collected all of the breadcrumbs that had to happen within the first hour. Shit.
What do I do here?
And I had only planned 2 fights, and they're already almost done with the first fight, and we are an hour 45 in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. So this is why it's good to have the little pile of extra breadcrumbs of just complications and just things that they can find to like chuck in.
Mm-hmm.
So that takes a little pressure off of you as a storyteller because you're not having to riff and go fuck in front of your friends.
Right.
You're just like, now it's time to pull out the extra bread.
Random little encounters too. Like,
Oh yeah.
there was one time we were playing the Shadowrun game. Encounter that didn't even involve the players. Like, it just kind of added to the world, the ambiance. They were driving on an interstate. It was rush hour. It's, you know, Cyberpunk City, so rush hour traffic is still going 80. And I had the driver who at the time was being pretty quiet, not really engaging too much. I was like, hey, will you roll investigate or whatever, spot, you know, perception or whatever? He goes, yeah, sure. And I was like, cool. You're a great driver, man. You're checking your mirrors and all that, and about 12 cars back, you see a van, and it's starting to swerve and speed up, and, like, looks like it's pushing cars out of the way. And he's like, oh, well, I'm gonna keep an eye on that. And I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. And then a little bit later, I have him roll again, and this car is, like, it's right up on him. And then he realizes 3 or 4 cars in front of him, there's another car, and then he realizes they have opposing gang colors, and now he has to navigate the fact that there is an 80-mile-an-hour gunfight between 2 cars next to him.
Not even a part of it. It's just
not even a part of
it.
They have to deal with this now. And that's not something I really planned. It was just this is moving slowly, and I want more excitement here.
Yeah.
Bah.
Yeah, so, like, at least in terms of, like, prep and writing a one-shot, I feel like having a couple of, like, in-your-pocket things like that are good, and you can use those to, like, flesh out the world more, because if players are being really efficient and getting shit done, I feel like rewarding them with more things to interact with is good, and having a couple of those planned ahead of time saves you from just having to go, I guess you get stabbed. I don't...
Terry the Stabber shows up.
Terry the Stabber, cousin of Jerry the Arsonist.
Don't get those guys in a room together.
No, there's just be stabbing fires. Terrible things are happening.
Jerry sets the fire. Terry just stands at the door for everybody coming out.
Yeah, just, you gotta rush act. Yeah, you do. Stab. Double fear frenzy. Yeah, and also, like, especially with World of Darkness, it is, because it's such a lore-dense game, a couple of your breadcrumbs could just be things that you pull from, like, the fluff sections of the books. They're just like, oh yeah, you found this scrap of paper, and then you give them the readout of, like, a note being written by 2 characters in canon that you didn't have to write, or if you decide you want to write things, because you're just like, I have tons of shit that I've just been saving forever, and it's like, well... If you're using the one-shot to recruit your friends, this is a good space to, like, insert a note of, like, oh, yeah, the Baron from whatever city's got a deal from Primogen in the city you're in, and there's, like, a shipment, and you're like, oh, that's fucking weird.
Anyway, I don't have time to deal with that right now.
I don't have time to deal with that. There's fire stabbing happening.
I gotta go get Terry, man. He's gotta stop.
We have to stop Terry. He escaped from knife jail.
Is it a jail made out of knives, or is it a jail for people who have used knives?
I feel like it's supposed to be a jail for people that have used knives, but because this is a giallo film, we're gonna have a shot of the knife jail, and then all the bars are gonna look like knives for some fucking reason. Because symbolism.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. There's gonna be a shot from the air, and the fence line's gonna show, like, the blade of the knife, and the building itself is the shape of the handle.
Oh. And the knife is a symbol of, like, failed masculinity.
Yeah. It's a broken knife.
God, I love giallo films. It's just
kind of
ridiculous.
It's kind of bent.
It's a little bent. A little crooked knife. But on the other end of the spectrum, you'll have players that just get lost in the weeds. Classic. This happens to me the most. I love efficient players. I usually don't get those. I usually get players that are like, what's this? I'm gonna fuck with this vending machine. I stuck that in there as, like, a note of, like, how old the building is. It's a vending machine that has glass Coke bottles in it, because I was trying to establish a mood and atmosphere, and the player's like, I'm gonna go fuck with the vending machine for, like, 10 minutes, and you're just like, okay. Well, you fucked with us enough, now I have to give you something. You find a thing behind the vending machine.
Good job.
Now that's just a canon thing in the module, is there's shit behind the vending machine. And inevitably, somebody, every time I have run this, has fucked with the vending machine. I don't know why. I'm assuming it's because everybody likes Fallout and the ook brain kicks in and they go,
Get it.
There's a Nuka-Cola in there. And I'm like, there's not, but okay, I gotta give you something. But having your pre-planned breadcrumbs being things you can use to steer the players back to the breadcrumb they have to find is also good. Because, I just like, as a storyteller, having like, okay, I got my little stack of backup plans. I have the plans I need to happen. Saves me a little bit of trouble. So it looks like I am professional and smart and good, as opposed to having to sit there and panic and go, fuck, okay, hold on. What does happen here? Shit. Can you tell that I have run games for Psychos for years?
I don't know what you mean.
There's 2 of them here right now.
Whatever could you mean?
It's like sometimes running games for you guys, it feels like you guys are my 401. 1401, whatever that room is.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was like, your 401k.
No, 1401. Or 1401, whatever the fucking... The room where John Cusack gets stuck in hell in a hotel room and Sam Jackson might be the devil.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
I was just sitting here thinking of, like, retirement savings accounts. Like, what?
No. But final note on these extra breadcrumbs. Remember, these are breadcrumbs that do not have to happen. Do not get precious with them.
Mm-hmm. As a storyteller, you really have to be like, does this bring joy to my players? And if it does not in the moment, joy can also be despair and horror and whatever.
Enjoyment.
Yes. Toss it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't need to be there in the moment, don't use it.
Yeah, I find at least when you're writing the extra bread notes to just like have in your pocket, to keep them from feeling too random, if you have the pre-gen characters or you do a night of like prepping the characters before the actual one shot, pull things from your players' sheets and just like make those the breadcrumbs. Like it's done. Your players did the work for you. Just like, okay, cool. I've got like 6 things extra in the pocket in case I need it. I have my start and my ending, and I got my 2 breadcrumbs in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
You did it. That's it.
Yeah.
You got a one shot.
We did.
And it's either like, you can pull from their backstories. You could literally just be like, all right, well, most of this one shot is built to do this thing. This one player is very good at, I don't know, something, and good at computers. And we're in a 1950s building. There's not computers in there. You could very easily make one of those extra breadcrumbs, something having just anything having to do with computers, to grab that one homie.
Yeah.
Be like, take up some time, please.
Yeah. Planning things that work for a player's unique skill for that extra little breadcrumb is good, but if it's the extra breadcrumbs, just don't make them plot important.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen when people make too many things to happen. Where I need to have the players do all these things and explore things, and I don't give everyone extra time. It's like, I'm not saying give players favorites during a one shot, but it's a one shot and you can't control everything the players are going to do. And if you got a guy that's just being real quiet, extend him the olive branch to do a thing, but if he's not going to pick it up, you gotta
just keep moving.
You gotta keep moving. Hopefully he'll pick it up.
Yeah.
And there's also going to be that guy who gets a pre-made character, sees one thing on a sheet, and it's like, I'm immediately using that. That's cool.
Yeah, there's like every problem is nail, and I am made of hammers.
The only thing I remember from reading over my pre-made sheet was that I have arms of Aramon, so I'm using that.
Off we go.
Everything is tentacles, and I'm like, okay.
You're playing a Lasombra. That makes sense.
Cool. Good for you, friend.
Yep.
It's gonna get sticky in this bitch.
It is vampire.
It is vampire. But also, as a note, I would say make sure you give yourself a beat for your break when you're planning this. If the one shot's like an hour or 2, you don't really need to worry about it as much. If it's a 3+ one shot, I would say one of your breadcrumbs that has to happen, make that the break breadcrumb. Plan for that to be either a moment of like high tension drama or a cliffhanger of some sort. So when the players activate that, you go drama and bio time, and it was just like, fuck you. God, if you can get fuck you out of that moment, you're doing
well.
Great.
Yeah,
that's a good little check-in moment to be like, hey, are we good? Are we not good? Go get snacks. I need 5 because I've just been yapping at you guys for 2 hours.
Right.
The 3-hour mark, I feel like, is good time to start adding a break. Feel like, because over, 2 hours you can get through pretty quick, but
Mhm.
about 3 hours, someone's gonna have to go to the bathroom. You don't want to have to emergency pause in the middle of a fight 'cause
Yeah,
someone's
no.
got to go to the bathroom. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
so I plus, people want to go get drinks. People want to like stretch their legs for a second.
Yeah.
So I think hour and a half. If you do 4 hours, you can do it at the 2 hour
Two,
mark
2.5
instead.
hour. Yeah.
But that's usually where I try and break it up anyway.
Yeah. It's like I try to plan on one of my breadcrumbs that has to happen to be a break, and then I try to have one of my not have to happen breadcrumbs be a break on the off chance that the breadcrumb that has to happen gets grabbed real quick.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh, they found that. It's hour and 30, and this is like a 4-hour game. I'm gonna let things play out for a little bit longer, and then I'm just gonna insert the other
Mm-hmm.
dramatic breadcrumb that didn't need to happen and go, the break is now. I planned this.
Ha 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 ha!
Haha, I didn't really. I was just like, shit, you guys found that way faster than what the fuck.
Yeah.
I'm giving away the secret that when I run shots, so much of it is me in the background just going, It's like, you planned this? And I was like, I thought I did. Every time I run a one shot, somebody does a thing and I go, oh, you're doing what? Oh.
How the fuck? Okay.
How?
Well,
Okay. You're using the raccoon to do what?
I put the raccoon in as that's cute. Okay. I
Okay.
guess he can be catapulted.
Yeah, it's due to me running Blank Buddies one shot at cons, I have now decided apparently it's canon for me and all of WAD that animals are immune to true faith because they're all blessed. Like they're all animals are safe
Hell yeah.
and immune to true faith.
Good.
I feel like
Somebody did a thing and I went, you're using him to do what? Could he grab it? Yeah, I guess.
Love it.
I can't think of a lore reason why the animals, like, I was like, I mean, animals don't really have guilt.
No?
No, yeah, he can grab it. So it's just canon now for me running WAD is animals are immune to true faith.
Hell yes. Hell yes.
I'm sorry, I cut you off a moment ago. What was that?
I feel like animals are just too pure.
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
It's
it's just
true.
They're
like,
more pure than God, probably in World of Darkness.
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I've
Unless you're talking about a werewolf, and then they are an aspect of God. But
they're a failed aspect of God, but don't tell them that, they get upsetty.
Oh.
Oh. No, have joked with friend about the WAD God is just being a nervous dad energy that has like totally like bounced from the family and comes back and goes, oh, you did what now? Oh yeah,
Oh.
I as part of the plan. Yes. It's
Anyway, I
Anyways.
forgot milk.
yeah, it's just rift now into just the Abrahamic pantheon of angels and saints just going up to nervous WAD God. Just being like, hey, so I filed the report. They killed your son. I don't know what we do about that. And they're like, my son died. Yeah, that was part
Rip.
of the plan.
Right? That's what you
Man.
wanted?
The way they did it, though, was, like, horrifying. Was that part of the plan? Like, yes.
Totally.
Where is he?
Oh, he's coming back in a couple days. I'm going to have a conversation with him about
He didn't end up in dinosaur hell, did he?
that.
It's a whole thing. It's been a terrible riff. But once you have all of these things together, for one-shots, to save yourself time, I find it's easier to write my beats out either on note cards or post-it notes, and I stick them to my ST screen.
oh yeah, I love note cards.
A fucking note card. I'm getting close now that I might invest in a Rolodex, because
There
then
you
you
go.
can have all your beats for your one-shots on the Rolodex, and you just...
Yeah.
Also, I just kind of want a Rolodex.
They're cool.
They're like $20 now.
They're cool.
I'm a
Ooh.
dumbass. I love me a Rolodex. I'm terrified someone's gonna give me one now.
Please do not gift us as a group all our own Rolodexes. Please do not.
No. I
No.
would hate that.
uh,
I don't have enough decks to roll.
It's okay. All right. Look, I'm already trying to manifest us getting a sponsorship deal from Malort. I got plans.
That's what we deserve.
That's what we deserve! Oh no! Just Malort and Rolodexes. So, on the day, you've done all this planning, you've done the prep, you've done the writing, you got your notes together. Woohoo. I would say big thing for running a one-shot is please, as a storyteller, do not be too hard on yourself.
Yeah.
People put a lot of pressure on themselves for running a one-shot. I know it's a lot of energy. You gotta do the thing. Good news. One-shots, while they are very fast-paced, and they can seem ridiculous, because the players, might not be as invested in these characters in the one-shot, because they're like, well, it's a one-shot. I'm going to do things that are wackier than I normally ever would, because what are the consequences?
Right.
And I'm like,
if this character dies, whatever.
yeah. Yeah, so be prepared for that. Give yourself the grace to expect that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And also be prepared to do a lot more yes-anding than you ever expected for, because your players are aware it's a one-shot, so they don't have long-term consequences.
Yeah.
So they're gonna throw out weirder ideas than they probably normally ever would. Just strap in for that. They're gonna say some shit, and they're gonna go, "You're gonna do what with the gnome jar?" Okay.
Get it, buddy.
I guess.
Roll your dice.
But overall, I would say if you're running the one-shot on the day and there's a thing going on in the one-shot that the players are really engaged with, use it. Use the fuck out of that. Weaponize the shit out of that. Yes, and that. If you planned a thing and the players are not engaged with it, chuck it. Don't be precious with your plot. It's a one-shot. It's not worth trying to force them to engage with a thing if they're not interested.
Yeah.
Just move it. Get rid of it. Yet.
Mm-hmm.
I find storytelling for one-shots turns into you're just live editing a document with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of what it feels like. It's like, hey guys, I have all these ideas. And then, your friends go, I like this one, I like this one. And you're just like ripping out the shit they are not engaging with and hoping they don't notice.
Yeah.
That you're throwing so much shit away. Just like, yeah, I don't need that, don't need that. What is this question? I don't know. Sure.
This throwaway character I wrote that was supposed to just kind of show up, talk to him for a second, and leave at the Elysium, they've decided they're the solution to all their problems, so...
Yeah.
We're reorganizing some things.
But also, the fun thing is with the giving yourself grace on this is because it's a one-shot, you are in what I love to call fuck it, we ball mode.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about fuck it, we ball mode is the players don't know how much you prepped or didn't prep. They don't need to know you fucked up, because there's no way they're gonna know.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, cool thing is, as long as you act chill and be like, yeah, I planned that. Totally. Be nervous, Wad God. Yeah, that was always part of the plan. Uh-huh.
You have fallen into my trap.
Yeah, you don't have to be super precious with your game since it is a one-shot, but that doesn't mean folks get to act out of hand or be the buzzkill for the fun and safety, because, yeah, I've been lucky to not really had this issue. I've had friends tell me some horror stories of running one-shots, and somebody was like, fuck it, and just said some, like, really out-of-pocket shit, or did some shit that was just, like, kind of ruining the fun for everybody else, because it was like, well, I'm playing this paladin, so I'm just gonna do blah-blah-blah-blah, and then, or, the rogue is like, well, I'm gonna steal all the loot from everybody, and it's like, that's not fun.
Right.
And, it's your job as a storyteller to be like, man, why are you doing this?
I typically... Especially more in games like D&D. It will come up more in Vampire. But I typically, in general, don't like letting players roll against each other unless both players are consenting to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's a general rule that even you can discuss at session 0. It's like, listen, I'm not going to let you just like steal out of each other's pockets because one of you statted yourself so high that now they don't get to have things. Like,
yeah.
Right.
You're all superhumans, but that doesn't... You have to have a modicum of respect for the players, even if your character doesn't care.
Yeah. Like, I almost had a problem with this, but I made it work, because I ran Morkborg at PAX U in December, and no one told me there was going to be a child. But there was. And he grabbed the Morkborg character that I wrote, that his obsession was collecting teeth.
Hell yeah.
And the only thing he had was a hatchet.
Hell yeah.
And this child just saw teeth. That's my job. That's my duty. To a point that was, like, obsessive and bizarre. And if it was any other game system, I would have been like, oh, no. But it's Morkborg, so it kind of worked.
That's kind of, yeah.
It kind of worked. And I wrote a guy in the party whose best friend was his own teeth. So he was, like, constantly covering his mouth to hide his teeth. But yeah, the kid would just fuck off from the party to go, like, find teeth from monsters, and I was just like, now I'm having to make up monsters to give the tooth child things to do lest he attacked the party.
For teeth?
For teeth, yeah.
I like that. Good job, kid.
Yeah, like, that could have gone really, really sideways, but I had the good balance of the players were chill. I did ask the players all if they were okay with having a minor at the table.
Mm-hmm.
And I did adjust the violence level of the game to be more like Metalocalypse, because I was planning on going way worse with it, and I went, oh, this is a child now. I don't feel comfy, because I don't know this kid, I don't know his parents.
Right.
His dad's cool with him playing Morkborg at fucking packs, so, So I kept it to Metalocalypse levels.
Which is still pretty intense.
Yeah, but it's like, but
it's silly intense.
But having a player that is constantly railroading for one goal and fucking ditching the party and fucking off the trails and all sorts of shit like that could derail a game in a way that's not fun. But I was able to use my ability to yes and everybody else's ability to riff to kind of just turn it into a bit.
Right.
Where just the child was like, but if I don't collect teeth, what is the point of my life? And he just had this like little existential crisis.
I mean, like, not a great move, like jumping off path and like ditching the party. Great roleplay, little kid.
Yeah, no, he was great. The tooth child, like horrifying little dude. It ended up being funny because I hadn't told any of them that the end of their one shot was to fight a vampire lord, and the child was like, "I'm getting those teeth."
Oh yes.
And I just was like, well, I kept telling the party every time they attacked this vampire, they knew in their souls if they did not slay him, every scar they gave him would make him only more hot. And he must be stopped. So, like...
Fair.
You know what would stop him from being hot? Take his teeth. True. Yeah. So
nothing desexies a vampire more than him whistling like between his teeth when he tries to speak. I can't whistle, but
from the Sabbat.
Fantastic.
There are probably a lot of Sabbat that are missing teeth, though.
Yeah,
so.
That's fair.
There's nothing inherently wrong with missing teeth, but I feel like if you don't have your fangs, that like
as a vampire, I mean, that's a flaw.
Yeah, that's a flaw. Like that's taking so much riz.
Yep.
That's like being a hairless werewolf. You know what I mean? Like there is a.
Oh, you said that. My brain immediately remembered. Like I've seen pictures of like shaved bears.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, no, it's wrong.
Exactly.
No, don't be.
There's nothing wrong with not having hair.
No.
But when you're a werewolf, it's kind of essential to the.
It's kind of part of the thing, and when it's not there, your brain just goes no.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I would say it is important when you're storytelling for one shots. Be prepared to just like pivot things and try to like make things, because it is your job to make this fun and you have a very limited amount of time, so you might need to like step in a little bit more than you normally would for a cron and just be prepped for that. Give yourself the grace for that. Give the players the grace to like they're feeling things out and they're being a little squirrely. Plan for that as best you can. And it's also totally okay to ask folks to stay focused and like corral the cats. Because occasionally they're just gonna go squirrel way too hard and you're just gonna be like, okay, I tried to ha-ha pivot you guys and you're not ha-ha pivoting, so I'm just gonna be like, hey guys, we have a time limit.
Right.
That's totally okay. They signed up for the one shot.
They know there's a time limit.
They know there's a time limit. We gotta get to the end.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's the other thing is you can kind of say out of character, be like, I know we're having fun being characters. We have an hour left.
And I would like you guys to kill this vampire lord lest he be too hot from all of the scars.
I've also done this many a time because this is my fatal flaw in doing one shots is they tend into two shots. So you can equally say, are you guys having fun with these characters? Are you okay adding a second session? Because we have like an hour and a half of our 4-hour session left and you're about halfway done.
Yeah.
So you just want to...
So I'm just gauging right now. We can take a break right now.
Come back, finish up, or...
Yeah, come back and finish up. We can just play this out and try to see how much we can get done. Do you want to turn this into a chronicle later? We can talk about that later.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing, too.
Yeah.
If a one-shot goes well, it could turn into a chronicle,
Yeah.
but doesn't have to. That's
the important thing, though. It's like, have fun. That's the big thing. It's just like, hopefully the things I am trying to say about one-shots is like, I just want you to plan. So that way you, when you're storytelling a one-shot, can have fun, because I do love running one-shots.
It's a lot more stressful when you don't have it set up and planned.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you're like, I'm just going to riff this one-shot, I got it.
Hey, I don't need a prep, it's fine. I'm like,
You might not need to, but it'll be a lot more fun if you do.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot less stressful.
Yeah.
And smoother if you do.
And also just the abject horror that comes to players when you've planned and they're like, I'm gonna do this silly thing, and you get to pull out this like really stacked yoked hunter and just whack it on the table and they go, What? Fuck you, why?
I am threatening.
Yeah, and I was like, he's got chainmail on. They're like, what? I was like,
why does he have chainmail on?
And like actual armor? Yeah. Oh no.
Why?
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 That's crazy, dog. I'm like, yeah, it is. And he's coming for you. What you gonna do? Not like that.
Maybe later.
Yeah.
If you're good.
Not the hot priest. No. That's part of the reason I have a hard time running fucking Society of St. Leopold for some of my friends. Because way too many of them have, like, a weird hot priest thing. So they're just like, okay, so is he, like, the guy from, like, Midnight Mass? Or is he the guy from Fleabag? Like, what are we talking? I'm like, stop trying to fuck the priest.
He is the antagonist.
And they're just like, I was like, why are you guys horny for this? Like, and they're like, I'm gonna go to the confessional. I'm like, don't make me roleplay that. Don't make me do that. Damn it.
That is potentially a really cool scene, though, now that I'm thinking about
What?
it. A, Society of St. Leopold giving confession to, like, a vampire.
Yeah.
Like, actually being in the confessional booth and being like...
Or the other way around.
Either side of that could go, like, hard as fuck. Good tense moment, but also just like, you guys are gonna make it really horny, aren't you? God damn it.
It is a vampire game.
I'm not... Some groups of friends, I'm super like, yeah, let's make it weird. And other groups of friends, I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy, you're the wrong kind of weird.
You're built different, but wrong.
You're like Frankenstein.
Yeah. So hopefully it helps folks with one-shots. I think we have a plan on how we're going to build this one-shot, but we'll build one live next episode.
Next episode.
I don't know why I went Space Ghost with that, coast to coast. But Paralyze does the music for us. They are good. Give them $1.
Yeah, that's
Give
true.
them multiple dollars.
If you can.
If you can swing it, give them a listen.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're touring or doing anything for the summer. I haven't checked. But
So my buddy Hal, he's more active with a new band I've mentioned before called World I Hate.
Mhm.
He does vocals for them now.
Hell
so
yeah.
you can check them out.
Also check them out and give them $1. Tell them Blank Buddy says hello.
Mm-hmm.
we support artists, god damn it.
I love artists.
We do. It's like we art here on the show, and if you want to see things we're doing on the show and keeping up with us, we are on social medias. We have Instagram at Blank Bodies Pod. We have TikTok at Blank Bodies Podcast. We also have Blue Sky, Blank Body. If you just type in Blank Bodies on those platforms, you'll find us. Hello. Yeah. We have a Patreon, which we appreciate. We have used that money to make the show better, get better gear.
Yeah.
We've invested in merch stuff. I'm not 100% if I'm going to have the merch pre-orders up by the time this episode is aired. It will be up before PAX use. That'll be the second weekend of May. So beginning of May, that should be up.
Awesome.
Keep an eye out. We'll have the official announcement once it's actually up. But there will be the OG logo shirt and then 2 different versions of the Thaumatussi shirt. And Thaumatussi shirt will have proceeds also going to UNRWA.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because helping people in a crisis is a good thing.
You should do it too.
You should do it. But if you like our work and what we're doing, if you go to the Patreon, give us a couple $1 dues, you get extra goodies in the community Discord. You get to vote on polls to help us decide how we're running this dumb motherfucker of a show. And also, got Patreon bonus episodes. We are halfway through our deep dive on Kindred the Embraced.
Yeah.
Oh my.
About.
Next May will be our next chunk of episodes.
Yeah.
Of this insanity.
So.
I mean, so far it's been pretty good.
It's good. Just every time we have watched it, it just evolves into about every 5 minutes me going, what? Why? Why is this happening? What?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
The sun. That's what.
The sun. So, yeah, if you want to watch along with us, that will be there. And we have plans and things that are in the works.
Yeah, all kinds of little things. Oop, that's your foot.
Yeah.
He's playing footsie.
He's playing footsies, and
I thought I was ADD playing with a pillow that is also on the ground, but it slowly turned into his foot, and then I was like, oh.
It's me.
And if you wanna play footsies with our Patreon, we are trying to get to our next Patreon goal, which is $7.50 a month, and then we'll send everybody who is part of the Patreon a unique enamel pin as a thank you.
Yay!
Regardless of where you live on the planet, we're working on it. We're figuring it out.
Yay!
They will not each be unique to each other, but they will be unique to our patrons.
Yes.
That I feel like we're not putting your name or anything on there.
Yeah, we don't have that kind of money.
That's above my intelligence level to figure out.
That is Comisode money, which is $1,000 a month. I will do the Comisode, and we'll finish the Blood Milk Cub.
The body
the fluid trilogy.
The fluid trilogy.
Also, don't forget, when we hit the 750, we're going to do our first video content.
Yeah.
A breakdown of canon and just interesting places in Indianapolis. We'll go get some footage. We'll talk about how the city actually works in World of Darkness and some spots that we think would just be cool to use in World of Darkness.
A gaming travel vlog, if you will.
And then at $1,000, our ass is going to Chicago to do
it was
the same.
$1,500.
Oh, $1,500.
$1,500 to Chicago, because that shit's going to be expensive.
That's true. I mean, I'll just sleep on a friend's floor, but...
Yeah, but it's like, we still gotta, like, pay for travel and, like, time off work and then editing all that footage and...
Joke's on you, I don't have a job.
I do. Anyway, guys, I'm fucking burning up in here.
John is getting hot and spicy. Is it 'cause,
I'm leaving.
Is it the priest?
Sure, yeah. Hey, Father Anderson.
No!
Come here, buddy.
Get him out of here!
I got a monologue for you, too.
No. Ooh.
Nobody said bye, but I just kissed us out.
That's fine.
R.I.P. Pope.
Do we even need to say it at this point, or do they just know?